Hello friends, welcome to my channel Tackle with Tricks. In a series of basics needed to crack TCS and QT as well as your academics, today we are going to discuss whether the given number is prime or not using C program. Before that, if you really like the session which I am going to conduct, please do like, share it with your friends and do subscribe my channel and be with me till the end of the video. Okay, I'll assure you that you will never have any problem with the prime number program if you watch this video till the end. So let's start. Our program is check whether a given number is prime or not. For this program, we will discuss it in four ways. The first one is using for loop, the second is using function, third one is using pointer, and the last one is using recursion. Okay, before that you need to know what is the prime number. First, what is the prime number? A prime number is said to be prime if it is divisible by 1 itself, 1 and itself only. Okay, that means the numbers having factor as 1 and the number itself. Okay, let us consider the example here. 7 is a prime number whose factors are 7 and 1. Any other factor for the 7 which are other than the 1 and 7? The answer is no. So 7 is considered under prime number because it has factors the number itself and 1. Okay, now let us consider another example, which is 15. 15 is not a prime number because the factors of 15 are except 15 into 1, the rest of the factors of 15 are what are the other factors of 15? The other factors of 15 are 3 and 5. Okay, so 15 is having the factors which are other than the 1 and the number itself, so it is not considered under the prime number. Okay, so you can see here all the highlighted numbers are what which numbers? Prime numbers. Let us consider 37. 37 will never come in a table of any other number other than 1 and 37 itself, so 37 is considered as a prime number. Okay, now what is the actual logic behind the prime number program? So let us consider any example of non-prime number, which is 15. The factors of 15 are 5 and 3, which are other than 1 and 15. Okay, that means 15 has a factor which are other than the 1 and the number itself, so it is not the prime number. But what logic we are going to use in our program? So let's see. You can see here 5 as well as 3 both are less than what? 15 by 2. 15 by 2 is nothing but what? Half of the number which we are considering. Okay, the 15 is the number which we are considering here. So 15 by 2 is nothing but what? 7.5. 7.5 is nearly equal to 8. 5 is the factor of 15 and which is less than or equal to 8. Okay, here 3 is again the factor of 15 which is again less than or equal to 8 or 7.5. Okay, so we got the factors other than 1 and 15 which are dividing what? The number 15. So 15 is not the prime number. Okay, now let us consider other example, which is 11. Factors of 11 are only 11 into 1. That means we don't have any other factors except 1 and 11 for the 11, so it is considered as a prime number. So what we will take from this example is that the logic is other than the 1 and number itself, the rest of the factors comes in a range between 2 to half of that number. Okay, that means we will run, or we have to run our loop between 2 to half of the number entered by the user, because other than 1 and the number itself, all rest of the factors comes in a range between 2 to what? Comes in a range between 2 to what? 15 by 2. You can see here Or also if 11 is a prime number, we got the factor for 11 as 1 and 11, and rest of the factors must come in a range between 2 to 11 by 2. If there are any factors, they must come between the range 2 to 11 by 2, and this is the logic we are going to implement in our program. Okay, before that you need to understand what is the pointer and what is the recursion. Okay, recursion is nothing but the function is calling itself within the body of itself. Okay, that means here you can see recurse is the function, it is recurse function is called within the body of recurse function itself. So this is called recursive calls. Okay, you can start from the main function. Here you can see recurse function is called. We will go, or control will go to this void recurse function, and inside this recurse function the function is calling itself, so it is recursion. In this way the recursion works. Okay, now the second one is pointer. Pointer is the variable which stores the address of another variable. Okay, you can see here we did consider a variable var which is having a value 50 at its place. Okay, and the address of that variable is 1001. Okay, and pointer is the variable which is storing the address of the another variable called var. Okay, so the value at the pointer location is 1001. Okay, and address of this pointer variable is what? 2047. It is not of our use. Okay, let's only focus here. So we can see that, or this concept is very important. You need to understand this one. P is equal to what? If we are or we want the value of the p, it is what? P is equal to what? 1001. And if we are adding asterisk mark here, or we are referring to the pointer p, then it will give us the value stored at the address of the, or the value means it will give the value stored at this address though. So the value stored at this address is what? 50. So the answer of pointer p is what? 50. And if we are referring to p only, it will give the value stored at the pointer location. Okay, and if pointer p, then it will give the value stored at the address of location 1001. Okay, so now let's start our program. So let's start from the main function. You all know that this is the preprocessor directive, and this standard input output file is the file which we are going to use for which is necessary for using the inbuilt functions like printf and scanf, which we are using here for taking input from the user or printing instruction on the screen. Okay, printf is for printing instruction on the screen, scanf is for taking input from the user or scanning the input from the user. So now let's start from the main function. You can see here we are instructing user to enter a number, or user will enter the number which he wants to check whether it is prime or not, and we are scanning that number into the location of variable what? N. Okay, that is n is the integer variable, and we are scanning that input entered by the user at the address of n. Okay, now we will run. Now I am damn sure that you did understood that why we are running this loop from 2 to n by 2. Why we are running this loop from 2 to n by 2? Because we know that other than the number itself and the 1, the rest of the factors of the number, whether it is prime or not, all must come in a range between what? The 2 to half of the number itself. So we are running our loop, or we are checking if there is any factor between the range 2 to n by 2 which will divide the number entered by the user. And if it is dividing, if we got the factor, then it is not prime number, and here you can see that if we got the factor, it is not prime number, and if we didn't get any factor between the range, then it is a prime number. We will see this loop in detail. Let us consider example n is equal to 7, which is prime number. We already know that. Okay, the factors of 7 are nothing but 1 and 7, and other than 1 and 7, if there is any factor, it will be it will in the range 2 to 7 by 2. Okay, I did explain you how this comes. Okay, okay, let's start from the for loop. So we will start our loop from the 2, and we will run it from for up to 7 by 2 and I plus plus. Okay, now in first case our i's value is 2. I's value is what? 2, and 7 by 2 is nothing but 3.5. Now if 7 mod of 2, what we have to do here? We have to find the remainder, or we need to find whether there is any number between range 2 to n by 2 which will divide the number entered by the user. So we are doing this. Now 7 mod of 2 is equal to 0. If it is equal to 0, that means 2 divides 7. But here in this case 2 doesn't divide the 7, so we will not get remainder, or we didn't get remainder as 0. So we will not go inside this loop. Okay, and we will continue further running the loop. Now i's value has become 3. What I plus plus is there, so i's value become 3. Now 3 is less than what? 3.5. so we will run the loop. If 7 divides or i's value is what now? 3. I's value is what now? 3. If 3 divides 7, but here you can see that 3 can't divide 7, so we will continue to run the loop. Or here now i's value is incremented by what? 1. So i's value in further case is 4. Okay, the only way we can come out of this loop is break, or other way is whenever the condition in the loop becomes false. Okay, what this statement means? It means that to come out of this loop, we have to go inside the if condition, or we need to violate the condition given for the for loop, which is I should be less than, or I must be less than or equal to what? 7 by 2. Now in the next case, i's value is becoming 4, which will violate this condition. I equal to 4 is not less than or equal to 3.5. so is not equal to 3.5, so we will not continue this loop further, and we will come out of this loop. Okay, we will not continue this further and come out of this loop. Now we will check for the condition if I is greater than n by 2. What is i's value now? I's value is what? 4. 4 is greater than n by 2. Yes, it is greater than n by 2. So we will print what? N or %d is a prime number, and we can check that our answer is correct because 7 is a prime number. We are already knowing that. Okay, and if I is not greater than or greater than n by 2, then we will print what? Else we will jump into the part printf %d is not a prime number, but our i's value is greater than n by 2, so it will return the output 7 is a prime number. Okay, so let's run the program and see. This is by using for loop. Okay, so you can see here the program is compiled and compiled successfully. Now enter the number to 7. You can see the output is 7 is a prime number. Okay, now let's start the second program, which is using pointer. Okay, now we are discussing the prime number program using pointer. Here hash include stdio.h. This line is it is preprocessor directive. This standard input in output file we are going to use for the printf and scanf functions. Okay, these are the inbuilt functions which are used to which we are going to use for taking input from the user or printing instruction on the command line. Okay, now here same logic is used, but only the difference is we are using pointers to store the value entered by the user. Here you can see we did printed the instruction, enter the number, we are scanning that number at the address of variable n. Now we did define one pointer called as pointer p, and we are assigning the address of variable n to that pointer. Okay, we are assigning what? Address of variable n to that pointer's value. So whenever we are passing the p, we are passing what? Address of variable n. Whenever we are passing p, we are passing what? Address of variable n to the function called is prime, and is prime is the function we accepts the value, or we did take. Okay, p is what? Address of variable n, and pointer p will take the value stored at address of variable n. Okay, as p is referring to address of variable n. Okay, means then pointer p will give us the value stored at that location. I did describe you earlier, if we are using p only, then we are referring to what? Value stored at the location p, or value stored at pointer at the location of pointer p. And if we are if we are using pointer p for accessing the value, then we will get the value stored at the address of location address of that location. Okay, now here you can see same logic is here. Int I, one variable I is there, and we are running the loop for loop from I to pointer p by 2. Pointer p is nothing but the number it is nothing but what? The value of pointer p is nothing but the number entered by the user here. Okay, or you can refer again this one. Here you can see that if we are using ptr only, then it will give us the value 1001, but if we are using pointer p, then it will give us the value stored at this location. In this location is nothing but 1001, and value stored at this location is what? 50. So here come inside this loop for I equal to 2 and I is less than or equal to pointer p by 2 I plus plus. Here consider the example of 6. The factor of 6 are nothing but what? 3 and 3 into 2. Okay, which is 6 is what? 6 is not a prime number, and we are checking that only here. Okay, pointer p is nothing but what? 6 here, and i's value is 2. 6 mod 2 will give us the remainder 0. So we will break this loop and we will break this condition and come out of the loop. Okay, now what is here? I's value is 2 only, and 2 is not greater than 6 by 2. That means 6 by 2 is nothing but 3, and 2 is greater than 3. Condition becomes what? False. So we will jump into the else part, and we will print that %d is not a prime number. Okay, only this concept is quite different here. If you understood this, this prime number program using pointer is very easy thing for you. Okay, and means now here we did printed on the screen that %d is not the prime number. Now let's run the program. Using function is again the same, only the logic which we are going to use, or which we are using in our program, we did shifted it to one function called is prime number, or it is similar to that of the pointers program. Only here we are passing the n, or the means the variable in which we did store the value entered by the user, or the number entered by the user, and in previous case we are passing the pointer to or we are taking the input in the form of pointer. Okay, or we are passing parameter to the function which will accept the pointer variable. Okay, now here you can see we are passing the number entered by the user n to the function is prime number again, and is prime number is the function which will take this that input n, and again we are running the again we are running the loop from 2 to n by 2, similar condition. And if n mod of I equal to 0, if we got the factor between the range 2 to n by 2, then the number is what, it is not prime. And if we didn't get any factor and i's value is greater than n by 2, i's value becomes greater than n by 2, then we will print what, it is prime number. Same logic, but only the way of implementation is different. So now let's run this program as well. It is using function. We will enter 67, big number. You can see that 67's factors are only 67 into 1 and no any other factor for the 67, so it is what, prime number. And now let's implement our program using recursion. It is slight different, or the using recursion, the implementation of the program using recursion is slight different one. So now let's implement using recursion. Okay, we'll always start from the main function. So here from the main function we are using one variable called flag. Here flag is to indicate if flag's value is 1, then we will say what, number is prime, and if flag's other than or flag's value is 0, then we will say that number is not prime. Okay, similarly we did take an input from the user, scanning that input into or at the place of n, and here you can see that flag is storing the value written by the function is prime number. Okay, is prime number is the function which is taking the number entered by the user, which is n, and i's value and the n by 2. Okay, and the half of the number. So now let's jump into the function. Function is taking the n value and the I value. I value is nothing but what, n by 2. Okay, here if the number is less than 2, then we will print that enter the number which is greater than 2. As we know that we always start from the always start finding the factor from the 2, so the number should greater than 2. So if number is less than 2, we will exit. Okay, now if the number is greater than 2, then we will jump into the if part. If now this I which is passed as the parameter, if it is equal to 1, we will return 1. Okay, and we will what happen when we will return 1, if flag equal to 1, and that means this flag's value become 1. So if flag is equal to 1, we will now we will return that percent d is what, prime number. Okay, we will consider this by taking example. Just understand the flow first. So we will print what, percent d is prime number if flag is 1, and otherwise if flag is 0, that means what, we will jump into the else part, and number mod of I equal to 0, then we will return what, 0. Now let's consider the example. Let's consider the parameters passed here are 6 and what, 6 half is 3. Okay, now if number is less than 2, what is our number is 6, it is not less than 2. So we will move to the if part, and we will check if I is equal to 1, I is 3, it is not equal to 1, so we will jump into what, else part. Here we will check num is what, 6 mod of 3 is equal to 0, then we will return what, 0, and if we return 0, the flag's value here becomes 0, and if flag's value is 0, then we will jump into this else part, and it will print what, percent d is not prime number, and it is correct as well, because we know that 6 is what, it is not prime number. Okay, so This is how we did implemented prime number program using what? Loop, function, pointer and recursion in these 4 ways. Okay. And can you tell me which one is the best approach? Which one is the best approach for implementing? According to me, the best approach for implementing prime number program is what? Recursion. Okay. Is what? No. So we did implemented the prime number program using 4 ways. The first way is using what? Loop. Second one is using function or pointer. Second is pointer. Third one is function, and the last one is what? Recursion. Okay. If you really like this session, please do like, share it with your friends, and if you want PPTs for this session, you can comment in the comment section below. And finally, thank you.